Joining us now with what's at stake, Libby Cantrill, head of public policy at PIMCO. Any reason to think, Libby, that there's going to be some, I mean, the eventual outcome is probably the same, but will there be some different things happening that we haven't seen in the past, in your view, this time around?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Joe. Yeah, well, what we're telling our clients is that it is really early, arguably too early to be even talking about the chances of default here. It's important to remember that the markets don't really react to sort of previous debt ceiling standoffs until sort of days, if maybe weeks before the so-called X date, that drop deadline. Deadline. And so the fact that we're now 6 months out and talking about, sort of chances of default just seems a bit overblown from our perspective. Sure, are House Republicans using this as one of their very few sources of leverage because, of course, they're in the minority? Yes, of course. And I think that should have been sort of expected. But kind of when push comes to shove, Joe, as you said, we've seen this movie before. We don't think the dynamics are very different from sort of the 2021 debt ceiling standoff or the 2015 debt ceiling standoff. And I think really importantly here, Joe, there are lots of similarities people are sort of calling out between 2011 and 2023. And we actually don't think that there are a lot of similarities. House Republicans have a much smaller majority than they did back in 2011, only a 4-seat majority versus a 24-seat majority. That really decreases their leverage going into these debt ceiling negotiations. And I think really importantly, the politics of austerity have really changed. You have to remember back in 2010, after the 2010 election, 63 new Republicans were sent to the House really to rein in spending. That is not the case now. There are only 10 new Republicans coming to Washington, and their mandate wasn't to cut spending. In fact, entitlements still are very popular among voters, particularly as they get older. So,
Libby,
yes.
During the leadership debacle, whatever you want to call it, that ended with Speaker McCarthy, the Republicans that were the 20 holdouts didn't really do the overall party any favors, probably, and you saw the glee and the Schadenfreude and the epicaricacy. I remembered how to say it. The epicaricacy of the Democrats during that whole thing. Maybe there wasn't alcohol, although I didn't check for flasks, but there was at least popcorn and a lot of enjoyment watching that happen. Now, once again, you're setting up the Republicans as the bad guys here. Everybody is. But Andrew made a point earlier. Now, this is the Daily News, and we know the Daily News is like the opposite of the New York Post, kind of like Fox and CNN. But you see what that says? It's got Thelma and Louise headed off the cliff, and it doesn't have a donkey and a elephant. It's got an elephant and Uncle Sam. So once again, this is all the Republicans. Democrats are trying to do the right thing, and they love this. Are the Republicans dumb enough to get played again? Are they dumb enough to get played by the Democrats again and by holding out?
Yeah, and just to be clear, Joe, I'm not saying that Republicans are necessarily at fault here. What I'm saying is that this should be expected, that usually a party out of power in the White House uses any sort of tool they can to extract concessions or to exert leverage over the party that's in power. And so it shouldn't be surprising that House Republicans are using this as one of their few sources of leverage. That is sort of the point that I am making here. But yes, I mean, in terms of kind of the politics here, 2024 is going to be right around the corner from this, so-called X date, if June or August or what have you. This politically is not going to benefit Republicans. So I think you're right that, my view, and I think lots of other folks who have been observers of these debt ceiling standoffs for years, is that cooler heads will prevail. Leader McConnell has already made it clear that he will not let the U.S. default. And of course, he is a really important player here. And Republicans, I think that the majority of Republicans know that when push comes to shove, they will have to raise the debt ceiling somehow. Now, of course, they want to get some concessions along the way. I think that that's unlikely to happen. Maybe they get some sort of kind of fig leaf in terms of the establishment of a commission to look at spending, but that sort of seems like the most that they will likely get. But again, this seems like it's political posturing to be expected, is not a market event. From our perspective, that's what we're telling clients. This is not a market event. As of now, we take this seriously, but folks should be focused on other things like what the Fed is doing.